Howdy, Olympia. Today we're talking about the January 13th and 14th meetings of the Olympia City Council, and it was a double header like baseball, which baseball season's just around the corner.
This is Council in 10.
For the record, I'm Kelly Purse-Brossett.
And I'm Susan Grisham.
Okay, so let's get started. We'll talk about January 13th. So the council had a special meeting on Monday, January 13th to interview candidates for appointment. Just a little background as we go quickly. Former council member Lisa Parsley was elected to the state house. The council opened applications to the community for someone to appoint to her position number 5. We got in all about 24 applications altogether, 22 moved forward, and on Monday night, council interviewed 7 really remarkable candidates. Yeah. Good group. They used ranked choice voting to come to their conclusion after the interviews, and a big thank you to the Thurston County Auditor's Office, Auditor Mary Hall, and particularly Elections Officer Jack Mongan, who came to City Hall and administered the process for council, and they landed on a fabulous choice. Now Council Member Kelly Green.
Yeah. All right.
And then we went to the 14th. The next day we came back here.
We're just fast around here. So at yesterday's council meeting, January 14th council meeting, all council members were present, including new council member Kelly Green, and she was officially sworn in. So earlier yesterday, she was sworn in by our city clerk for the official swearing in ceremony, but at the meeting, Councilmember Green was sworn in by her daughter, Elliot Green. And after the swearing in, she thanked council for their trust in taking the role. And then they recessed for 10 minutes so she can celebrate the moment with her family, and so the council members could meet her family.
Right. There are lots of family and friends in support of her there, so it was really nice. Nice crowd of folks, of community members.
Yeah.
Happy about that.
Then we went into the second special recognition, which was a proclamation recognizing Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day on January 20th, and the council members read that proclamation. And then Dr. Thelma Jackson from New Life Baptist Church spoke also on behalf of Reverend David Reeves, who couldn't be there, about the importance of recognizing that day in the city of Olympia.
Right. And she placed a call to the community, called on the community to re-examine the values that Dr. King shared, especially as we move into this new year and new time, and to remember that they are more than just words.
Yes,
right.
Indeed.
And how do we put them into action in our lives and in our community? So yeah.
And then we moved on to public comment. There was only one speaker who spoke regarding concerns around homelessness.
Yep. So then we moved into the consent calendar, and there were two pools. There was pool 4B, which was, it was around an intergovernmental agreement with the Thurston Conservation District, and it was pulled for comment from Councilmember Madrone, who is a big advocate of urban agriculture, and this agreement was about that. She talked about how pleased she was about this agreement and noted that it really just sort of codifies a long-term relationship the city has had with the Conservation District around the important work of producing food in the community, for the community, and creating community gardens. And then 4D was also pooled, and Dominic Jones, the city's building decarbonization program manager, was asked to comment about that, and it regards an interlocal agreement which regionalizes the city's heat pump program, Energize Olympia, which is bringing heat pumps at a reduced or even sometimes free cost to people's homes and where and saving on those greenhouse gases. But that's been regionalized, and so it is now called Energize Thurston. So more people can take advantage of that program. And then we went into pretty much directly into other business. And Nicole Floyd, a principal planner in our Community Planning and Economic Development Department, talked about the work that the department has been doing to update our permit timelines. And a lot of the work is around and it's a proposal for council had to move on this, take action on it, but the proposal was around updating our permit timelines to align with recent updates on state law. But this one specifically around land use permits, which she described as land use permits aren't permits where people get to actually do something. They're just, they bring in a design and their dream, as she says, and it's just a permit that says your dream makes sense. So they heard a great. She has a really good skill of taking these really dense and sometimes for me boring subjects, and she makes them really light and fun and easy to understand. So she's a really remarkable staff member. So.
And she doesn't get to present too often.
She doesn't. So it was a really pleasant thing.
And then they passed that.
Yes.
And then moving on to item 6B, which was approval of the 2025 City Council Retreat Agenda. The Council's retreat is taking place on January 24th and 25th. And that agenda includes going over their council agreements and their schedule for the year, their committee assignments, and then most importantly, talking about budgeting going forward. That will be most of the day on Saturday the 25th.
Right.
So the council members felt that the agenda did reflect what they wanted to talk about at that retreat.
Yes.
And then they moved to approve.
Right.
Yeah. So then we moved on to reports.
Right.
And it looks like City Manager Bernie reported on a couple of Martin Luther King Jr. Day celebrations taking place over the next week.
Yes. That's coming up, 3-day weekend.
Yeah. And then they closed out the evening with an executive session. So they recessed at 7:31 p.m. and that executive session was around litigation and potential litigation. They were to meet for no longer than 90 minutes. And they reconvened at 7:41 p.m.
All right. And they took a little recess between them because we have a new council member and we needed to get new pictures. So we took a little photo shoot in front of the dais.
It's like photo day at school.
Yeah, it was like photo day at school. So, all right.
Yeah.
I think we did another one.
Yeah, got her done.
Got her done. Okay. So that was fun, as always. I want to thank you guys for joining us again. If you're watching us live, you can stay tuned for the full replay of both of the council meetings we talked about. You can watch the interviews and you can watch the regular business meeting. Or you can watch both of them and any other programming on demand anytime on OliTV3.com. And like I always tell you, download that app because it's really good.
And if you want to watch a council meeting live and in person here at City Hall Council Chambers, we're here most Tuesdays at 6 p.m.
Yeah, and we will save a seat for you.
And with that,
we're adjourned.